just good. What do we do to get it to great?
Okay. We're great. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. That's better. That's a whole lot better. Cynthia, Gladys, Shaheen, how's everybody doing?
I'm good.
That's good. You sound good.
Fine. Good morning, sir.
Great morning. Phenomenal Friday. Or as someone I used to know says, Friday. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, TikTok. Everybody, there's a man in Nigeria named Aliko Dangote, and he began building his business empire in Nigeria through trading commodities and gradually expanding into manufacturing. The journey required long hours, strategic risks, and perseverance through economic instability and infrastructure challenges. Despite setbacks, Dangote continued expanding operations into cement, sugar, and other industries. His persistence eventually built the Dangote Group, making him the wealthiest individual in Africa and a major force in industrial development. In the Philippines, everyone should know Manny Pacquiao. He grew up in extreme poverty in the Philippines. As a young man, he trained intensely, sometimes without adequate food, while trying to support his family. His boxing career required extraordinary discipline and physical endurance. Pacquiao trained relentlessly, pushing his body through exhaustion to complete to compete against the best fighters in the world. Exhausted. Leader Money, great morning, sir. Keep everyone muted, please. Everyone muted, please. His perseverance allowed him to become the only boxer in history to win world titles in 8 different weight divisions, inspiring millions of Filipinos. In Bangladesh, a man by the name of Muhammad Yunus faced enormous skepticism when he introduced an idea of microfinance, which is small loans given to poor individuals without traditional collateral. Many banks rejected the concept. Have you ever been rejected? Critics argued that lending to the poor would never work. Eunice continued developing the idea despite resistance and financial pressure. Through perseverance, he established the Grameen Bank, which helped millions of people escape poverty through small business loans. His work eventually earned the Nobel Peace Prize and transformed financial inclusion across many developing countries. In Pakistan, a man by the name of Abdul Sattar Eddy began his humanitarian work with very little money. He operated a small dispensary and used a simple van as an ambulance. Over decades, he worked tirelessly, often sleeping very little while responding to emergencies, caring for the homeless, and helping abandoned children. Through relentless perseverance, he built the Eddy Foundation, which became one of the largest volunteer ambulance networks in the world. And he provided extensive humanitarian services across Pakistan. His life demonstrated what happens when compassion pushes beyond human exhaustion. I woke up this morning and all of the voices of common consciousness told me, you're tired. This week you've driven over 15 hours back and forth to Orlando. Kujal, great morning, King. Kujal Islam, good morning, King. Shahin, Sohin. And I heard the voices say, stay in bed. All you have to do is message Queen Mayan and Gladys, and they're going to take over. And I know that if I needed Gladys or Mayan, they step right to it. It wasn't difficult for me to summon today's topic. Today's Success Collective Growth Sessions title is Persevering when exhausted, persevering when exhausted. You see, it's easy to keep going when you have all the energy in the world. You've gotten what most people believe you need, 8 hours of sleep, which I can't imagine getting that much sleep. I function very well on 3 to 5 hours of sleep per day and wake up with full energy normally. But I understood that although I had the excuse of exhaustion, it's a legitimate excuse. I had a reason, I had a purpose that was greater than the excuse. And in life, we don't need a million reasons to keep going, to persevere, to endure. We just need one. And sometimes we have to convince ourselves and sell ourselves on the idea, right, of of the cross that is the joy that is set before us, enduring our own personal crosses. No, I'm not saying that we're going through what Jesus went through on the cross physically, but I'm saying that he, being the example, the ultimate example of spiritual maturity, gave us a pathway, gave us a way out whenever, not if, but whenever we ourselves are facing what feels like an insurmountable moment. Leader Mayan talked about very openly, and thank you for that. You had everybody in tears when you spoke about your suicidal period, when you were going through so much pain and you didn't want to be here. I had a suicidal period, and there may be other people on the live call and or those watching the replay in 2026, 2027, 2050. I don't know if the return of the Messiah is delayed. I thank God that we have the ability through technology to have an impact past our human years on this earth. But she persevered through her season, going through relationship issues. Some people can break up from someone and it's no big deal. They just go on to the next and the next and the next. But when you're a person who loves very, very deeply and you throw your whole self at a person, not even purely, but past that line of acceptable love, when we get into worship, have you ever worshiped someone? Have you ever worshiped money? Maybe you don't say that out loud, but your actions prove it. If there's something or someone that you absolutely cannot live without, they have become your God. But she pushed through that and is now an amazing speaker here on the platform, which will touch millions of people each year as we continue through our developmental stage here and start to actually push the marketing. We haven't pushed, we haven't marketed Success Collective yet. Just organically, we're growing one step at a time. And so far, we have touched, well, in terms of views, had over 50 plus thousand views, which is nothing compared to where we'll be in the future. But we we have to keep our eyes on the goal, the vision that is bigger than whatever we have to sacrifice. I was speaking with someone about 3 or so weeks ago. We were talking about the fact that there are some things that I'm not able to do right now in this intense season of growth in business and with speaking and mentoring. And I've had to forego some very important things that involve people. And the ignorant eye, The ignorant ear will think that I and will think that you, when focused on what God told you to do, are abandoning those who need you. It looks like that to the untrained, ignorant eye and sounds like that to the untrained, ignorant ear. But when God gives you, when you know that God has spoken something to you in a season when it does not look like anything that he's saying. When you're an Abraham with no children at all whatsoever, and God says that your lineage, your descendants will be as the stars in the sky, the sand on the sea, you have a responsibility to shut off your mind's attempt to reason with God. See, it's not with the flesh or the spirit that we serve God, it is with the mind because it's so easy to allow what looks like it makes sense to compete with faith. And faith is over here, and sense is over here. They never touch. So we're going to either live by our five physical human senses, or we're going to live by faith. So when God spoke the word to me about Success Collective, before there was even a name for it, I felt as if I couldn't do it because I was in a place of emotional strain and stress. And I thought to myself, well, God, how can I speak to people about faith when I myself am gripped by, riddled with fear? But see, God doesn't call you because you have everything together. He calls you and then he equips you as you go along the way because God refuses to live in your world, a world in which he is not necessary. So he'll give us a few steps and say, okay, start now. You're not ready, correct. Start now. Too often we have the paralysis of analysis. We're looking at a thing, we're examining, we're in research mode, learning and learning, but we're not doing. And when you walk in the path that God has for you, there's a guarantee that you will be tempted to be weary, to be tired in well doing. Now, you cannot change the physical weakness that you feel, but it's not what happens to you that determines whether you keep going or not. It is what happens within you, your determination, your memory, remembering that God called me. And if he's called me, faithful is he who has called me, that he will do it. God will do it through us when we submit ourselves to him. So are you exhausted? Have you ever been exhausted? It's okay to admit that and have someone, or if you're really blessed, more than one person in your life wherein you can go to them and say, hey, brother, sister, I I don't feel like continuing. I feel burned out. Go to someone. Don't fight this battle alone. And if God himself is all that's necessary and people are not significant, then God wasted his time making more people. We are to strengthen our brothers and sisters. And when they mourn, we mourn with them. When they rejoice, we rejoice with them. But understand that exhaustion is a season. It's not always summer. It's not always winter. It's not always spring. It's not always fall. Seasons change. So let us remember the last time we were in the same circumstance or similar circumstance. Did we stay in there forever? And it can feel like punishment. like a child going in timeout. But usually, eventually, the caregiver or the parent lets the child come out of timeout and they don't live there eternally. So, and I feel like when you feel like we're in timeout, we're in a season where we feel as if we're being punished by life, or we have no more natural energy. God will be your strength. See, in our weakness, we're made strong when we submit to God. So if we didn't have moments of weakness, we'd never know what strength feels like in Him. Purpose equals fuel greater than energy. Energy is temporary, purpose is permanent. Hmm. When a person lives only on energy, like I've done so many times, and perhaps you have as well, they work when they feel good and stop when they feel tired. It's a human thing to do. It's normal, it's average. But none of us on this call are normal or average. Those are curse words in this group, in this family of believers. We're not normal or average. We're very peculiar people. We're strange. We're weird. Waking up this early, even if you're in a different time zone and you work on American hours, you're up early just like we are. We do the things that others do not do. See, successful people do what unsuccessful people don't do. And when we have a mission, when we have a purpose, we're not living our lives just for ourselves. I've changed my language from saying have or got to get to when it comes to doing things like coming on here and speaking on Success Collective and on Gerald Collins Ministries and No Seconds Wasted. And locally, I'm going to be traveling a lot here starting next month, nationally and internationally speaking. But when we understand that it's not about us, it's easier to push through. See, whenever I had no one really close to me in life who depended upon me, when I didn't have kids, when I didn't have staff, it was easy to do just enough to get by in life. But when other people depend on us, if we're mature, we have a why that is bigger, that is greater than ourselves, that becomes easily bigger, greater in size than the mountain of adversity that stands before us. What is your why? And if you don't have a why, ask God to reveal what your why is, your why, the reason that you do what you do, the reason that you come on Success Collective. Is it to get the giveaway? It's good bait, but hopefully you stay because you meet God every time you come on here. As the speakers submit themselves and ourselves to God, knowing that we are not able to say anything of value in and of our human capacity, but we submit to the one who is perfect and we allow him to speak through us and to us. Who's depending on you right now? Think about the people who benefit when you win. Think about the people whom you don't yet know, but God will introduce to you when you're on that right path of perseverance. God will open up your relationships and bring you into contact with people who will help you and those who will rely upon you. Someone to pull you higher, a mentor, someone whom you're pulling higher and you're mentoring them, whether or not you give it that title. When your purpose is large enough, your family, your calling, your faith, your mission, your body may feel tired, but your spirit refuses to surrender. And watch this. As you go along, as you do what you're supposed to do, as you push through, God will energize you in a way that makes absolutely no sense. Fatigue Fatigue is the battlefield where character is proven. Fatigue is the battlefield where character is proven. Fatigue exposes the true condition of our hearts. Anyone can speak about discipline when everything is easy, right? Anyone can talk about faith when life is comfortable. That C word, comfortable. Comfort causes us to become lazy. Complacency causes us to not go further than where we are. So pray that God keeps you uncomfortable. Average people, normal people want comfort. Mute all, please. Mute all, please. Mute all, please. Average people, normal people, thank you, seek comfort. We who are extraordinary because of our submission to God seek purpose. And they don't look the same. In life, you can either have success or comfort. You can never have both. And anyone who says you can have both has never achieved true success. By definition of your entire life lining up with where God wants you in your family, in your faith, in your fitness. Yes, taking care of your body is success. And in your finances, that's the easy part that everyone talks about. Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Life will always have conditional seasons wherein we do want to faint, which means to quit, where we do want to stay in weariness because it gives us an excuse. When I was depressed, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I wanted to stay in that comfortable place. I didn't want to bathe, brush my teeth, comb my hair, because it's easy to do nothing, but it takes energy to actually move, to have movement. And anything that is not moving is dying. Anything that is not growing is dying. But when we wait upon the Lord, and waiting does not mean sitting still necessarily. That's what a lot of people think. Waiting means just, I'm going to sit here and do nothing, and God's going to come and wave his magic wand and fix my life. No, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So don't expect stupid, unrealistic goals to come to pass. When you wait upon the Lord, you're doing the next best thing while you're expecting God to come through, right? Sometimes we don't know exactly what to do. So instead of doing nothing, just do the next best thing. Can someone type that in wherever you're watching this? Do the next best thing. And God will honor your movement because your faith is not demonstrated by you waiting around doing nothing. Your faith is demonstrated by you moving towards the direction. Please mute all. Moving in the direction of what you believe God wants you to do. There are times when God will seem silent. And in that season, be still and know that He is God. But be still does not mean don't move. It's talking about a season in which we are peaceful. Peace be still, right? We are peaceful despite the turmoil and chaos that is around us. And we move by faith. Our faith demonstrates how close we really are to the Creator, the one who made us. Hebrews 12:3. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your mind. James 1:12. Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to happen for you to get up and either start what God told you to do, to continue what he's told you to do? Are those of us who have continued to expand what he has told you to do? You see, people were given certain amounts of money by the master, and some got a return from that. They call them talents, but they had a certain amount of money, and some grew the money and came back and brought it to the master, and they were counted faithful. Another servant took the money and hid it in the ground for fear of losing it. Do you know that fear of failing will stop you from even starting the process of receiving a return on the investment of your time, on the investment of your finances? Like Leader Money Rule doesn't know completely something great that's coming to him by about next week, because I've seen him over the years. Leader Money Rule will take little and do much with it. And God
Yes,
will
I have.
continue, yes, God will continue to bless a person who will not sit still and make excuses as to why they cannot start. And you, whoever you are watching, if you have been faithful over little, God will bless you with, though it tarries, though it hasn't yet happened, wait for it. It must happen. You will reap, you will win, but you cannot stop. And you cannot watch the game from the sidelines or from the bleachers of life and expect to ever win. You can't win by watching. So, Father, would you help us today as we move, as we don't become complacent or comfortable? Would you breathe through us and breathe your life fresh within us to give us what we need, which is simply knowledge that we already have what we need in you, but to remind us that we have what we need in order to persevere. Let us never become comfortable or complacent, no matter how much results we've received. Let us remember that there's always more, because life is found in you and you are endless. You are limitless. So let us find ourselves in you today. And let every tongue, let every mouth that rises against us be condemned, be proven wrong by the God level of results that you are bringing to us. We're incapable of doing this life the right way without you. We need you desperately and we want you. So use us as we lead your people, one person, millions of people, whoever it is that you've put under our leadership. Let us move with your strength and think with your mind as we make decisions. It's in the name of the one who is perfect, Jesus. Amen. Hey, I love you. I hope, pray, and believe that you make today great. It's Friday. Some of you don't work over the weekend. I don't have that luxury. I got purpose, baby. So continue to make the rest of this day the best of your day and the rest of your life the best of your life. I love you so much. No seconds wasted. Okay, leaders take over.
Thank you, leader.
Thank you.
Oh my.
So I'll just chime in on the topic for today, which is the idea of persevering when exhausted. Perseverance is often celebrated when things are going well, of course, when we are motivated, when we are energized and confident. But the true test of perseverance happens when we are tired, when we are discouraged or uncertain. Exhaustion doesn't always mean you're on the wrong path. Sometimes it simply means you've been carrying responsibility, showing up consistently, and pushing through challenges for a long time. What matters in those moments is not perfection, but persistence. Perseverance when exhausted does not mean ignoring your limits or pretending you're not tired. No, it means recognizing the fatigue, but still choosing to move forward in whatever way you can, even if the steps are smaller than before. Sometimes perseverance looks like continuing to walk towards a goal. Sometimes it looks like pausing briefly to regain strength. But in either case, it means refusing to give up on the direction you know is right. Since God hasn't given up on you by taking your breath, there is always hope. There is also wisdom in remembering that strength is not only physical or emotional, it can be spiritual. When we feel depleted, that is often when we lean more heavily on faith, support from others, and the reminder that growth rarely happens without challenge. So perseverance is not about feeling, it's not about never feeling tired. It's about deciding that exhaustion will not be the final chapter of your journey. So even when progress feels slow, continue to move forward step by step. Eventually, leads us to the breakthrough that we are working towards. So that is my little chime in. Thank you.
Thank you, Gladys. Okay, so anyone else? Questions, comments, praise reports, or prayer request? Okay, I will statements, everyone. I will statements, a statement that gets you out of your comfort zone. It's not something that you do every day. So it starts with today I will. No one?
Today, I will keep pushing through all my exhaustion.
Thank you, Angelo. Anyone else? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Today I will pray who are in depression,
Thank you,
especially.
Thank you, Maniru.
Welcome.
Anyone? Okay. Giveaway. Two winners today. Gladys. Congrats, Gladys.
Congrats.
Second. Hmm. Okay. Let's since leader already prayed earlier, let's jump to our blank plus. So it's a 7 minute timer and music. So if you guys can move please do. Okay, 7 minute timer and music starts now.